sit down. Before 2021, before January 1, what you do is you sit down, you get a notebook, you get a phone, you get a laptop, and then you ask yourself, what were the lessons that this year taught me? Do not forget them, because you paid a high price for that. You paid with your blood, with your tears, with your pain. Because this year, I read this in social media, Brother Bo, can I cancel 2020? I read that all over the place. Can I give you an alternative perspective that you don't want to cancel that which is giving you amazing gifts, amazing precious gifts, as costly as gold and silver and diamond. I am telling you that these lessons, if you will apply them in your life, man, 2021 will be very, very different. Here's what I'm sharing with you, and this for me is crucial. Are you ready? Here's the thing. Will 2021 be better or worse? My answer is this. It depends. It really depends on whether you will apply the lessons that you learned this year. You'll hold on to them, and you'll say, this is God's word for my life. So I need to dive in right now. Are you ready? Lesson number 1. Put people over things. You know what? I knew that. You probably knew that already. I've preached about it pre-pandemic. But the pandemic has a way of spotlighting a truth and saying, this is not just something nice to have. No. The pandemic elevated it. 2020 elevated to the point of do it or you die. You know, whoa, it's explosive. Let me share with you something that happened with some friends of mine. They were sharing, for the first time, Brother Bo, for the first time, I was looking at all my shoes, 26 pairs, and I said, why do I have so many? My other friend did that, observing all her bags in shelves, nicely arranged, some of them wrapped in plastic, every time she would use it and keep it, just all, and for the first time she asked the question, this year, 2020, why do I have so many bags? And people started asking, why so many things? Because we would equate things with happiness. Things can make us happy. That's what we thought. This year, we realized, no, it's happy relationships that make me happy. It's people before things. I'll share with you something that happened to Hermie. Hermie Morelos is a dear friend of mine, longtime leader of the Feast of Light of Jesus, and he was telling me, Brother Bo, a miracle, a giant miracle happened this year. My family, my siblings, he said, and they're seniors, they would have a reunion once or twice a year pre-pandemic. Guess what happened this year? When the pandemic hit, they started, get this, meeting online every single day. No, it's like every day. I asked them, you meet every day? Yes! 3 in the morning. I'm sorry, 3 in the morning. 3 in the afternoon, he said. Every 3 in the afternoon, they would gather online. They would pray together. They would share together. They would cry together. They would laugh together. And Hermie will always thank God for what happened in that family, in their family, during this 2020. Now, in your family, I want to ask you that question. Has your family grown closer during this pandemic? If not, it's not too late. It's not too late. The tools are there. But you've got to be deliberate. Which brings me to lesson number 2. And lesson number 2 is that relationship. You've got to tend your relationships like gardens. Like gardens. This is important. I want you to know that my family experienced the same miracle. My wife, my 2 boys. I have not spent this amount of time with them like this year. Like it's just stalking together and doing stuff together. My youngest son teaching me how to sing. He was my voice teacher, would you believe? He's only 15. And then my other son, he had this business, and I was there. I was the first customer of his business, and it was just lovely. We would watch, we would play, we would do stuff. Put it this way, we grew closer together. And I want to thank God for 2020. Now again, I remember this statement that says the pandemic is not the great equalizer. The pandemic is the great amplifier. Karen Davila was telling me that, and she was referring to how the pandemic would amplify poverty and wealth, not equalize it, but amplify it, and I totally agree. But then let me apply it to relationships. Why? Because the pandemic amplifies your relationship in its present state. Let me share with you, my heart would break when I would read letters. The past few months, I would receive them. Brother Bo, I feel trapped at home. Because of the lockdown, I cannot stand my husband, my wife, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my uncle, my grandfather, I cannot stand. My heart would break. Because as I said, here at home, I am just, oh gosh, relishing the joy of being. Why? Because the pandemic amplifies your relationship. If your relationship is strong already, chances are it becomes stronger. But if your relationship is weak, the chances are high that it will become weaker. So what should you do? Listen to me, this year there has been many plantitos and plantitas. And people have been spending time in gardens, but I want you to know, people have also realized this, that their first garden, their first ever garden, would be their relationships. It would be their relationships. Why? Let me share this to you. This is very important. I want you to think of this, that you need to be deliberate with the relationship, the way you're deliberate with a plant. A plant dies when you don't take care of water, put sunshine. It'll die. Same thing. A relationship, it doesn't just thrive on its own. You've got to be deliberate with that relationship and work on that relationship. Again, you know this already, but this 2020 just emphasized, underlined it, encircled it, and says you've got to work on your relationships like it was a garden. Lesson number 3. You've got to slow down, and you will be able to reach your destination faster. I'm not kidding. Let me tell you my life pre-pandemic. Every month, I will hop on a plane. Sometimes, twice a month, I'll hop on a plane, go somewhere. And if I'm not traveling, that meant that almost every day, I will be stuck in the biggest parking lot in the world, EDSA, for about 4 hours, going here and going there. That was my life. And then in one snap, it was all gone. It was all gone. And I was here at home. I was stuck. But then what happened was, I began to slow down. And I was able to sleep more, rest more, spend more time with my family. I was able to exercise more. I was able to work more. So there's this slowing down. So from being a human doing to a human being. And that for me was such a blessing. Lesson number 4, connected to that, is to celebrate simple joys. And one of the highlight of my day was waking up in the morning and going to my backyard and just allowing the warmth of the sun to just embrace me and my every pore of my skin, just absorbing its warmth and inhaling God's love. And when I do that, no joke, I feel like I win the lotto. And how much does that cost? 0. When I'm holding hands with my wife, and then when we're chatting and we're just chuckling together about this or that, I feel like $1 million. And how much does that cost? 0. When I'm talking with my boys, with my sons, and we're onto some project, and we're excited, and we're swapping stories, how much does that cost? 0. When I'm reading, when I'm researching, when I'm doing my work, friends, I want you to list it down even. What are the things that will give you the simplest joys? The best things in life are free. And again, this is beautiful. Let me go to lesson number 5. You've got to get a PhD on gratitude. This for me became a big lesson, because During the pandemic, thousands of people began to write to me asking for prayer. People with anxiety problems, depression, panic attacks, and they asked me, what should I do? And so I sent them an instruction. I wrote it down, I did a video on it, and I sent them, and I said, you've got to work on your gratitude, because that's your superpower. You want to defeat this. You go, get help, get professional help, go to counseling, etc. But start with this. This is step one. You've got to get a PhD on gratitude. You've got to study it. You've got to work on it. You've got to nurture it. You've got to master it, because I'm telling you, it's powerful. When you actually start writing down your blessings every single day, and you work at it. In fact, the first thing I did was I told them, write 100 blessings. Maybe you remember that in a feast talk. And I kept on saying that, and I was serious that it changes lives. It does change lives. It just gives you a whole new perspective on life. So that for me is number 5. Number 6, lesson number 6 is, and I go very, very practical here. I'm going to put on my financial teacher hat here. Lesson 6 is you've got to get ready for rainy days. 2020 was a non-stop rainy year. And I have been, for the past 20 years, screaming my voice and my head off from the rooftops, telling people you've got to have an emergency fund of about 6 months, 3 to 6 months. And now we're realizing this year, I said, my gosh, it really has to be 6 months. 6 months of your expenses, equivalent to 6 months of your expenses, stashed somewhere for easy withdrawal at any time. If you're older than me, it's got to be 1 year. Your emergency fund is important, because at any time you can lose your job, at any time your company can fold up, at any time a black swan event can happen. So you've got to have that. Number 2, you've got to have some insurance. You've got to have some protection. As a financial teacher, as a financial mentor, I am sharing this to you now. I told you, I'm just sharing from the heart here. And I'm going very, very pragmatic. I want you to think about that. My sisters, I told you, they had COVID. They were hospitalized. My brother-in-law was hospitalized. How much was their bill? Each of them, $500,000 pesos. $500,000. But then because of PhilHealth, plus you've got their own health insurance, they walked out of the hospital paying only 5,000 pesos. Now there are people who don't have that insurance, who don't have that protection. And as I'm telling people right now, you've got to find a way to be able to get that as well. Third thing, and this is a huge encouragement, and I hope you're listening. Please don't just have one income stream. Many Filipinos just have one income stream. Their job, their salary, that's it. I'm telling them, keep that day job, start something on the side, a sideline, a side hustle, sell something, fail and sell, and if you fail, you do it again, I've failed 18 times, guys. 18 businesses. I'm a better entrepreneur now because of all those failures. And was it painful? Absolutely. I fell flat on my face, lost money, lost my dignity. But I just resurrected, and I just said, I'm going to try again. And I want you to think about that, to have multiple income streams, even just 2. Then if you're investing, that means you have 3, as a bare minimum. I will recommend that, because rainy days will always come. Please understand that. Number 7, you've got to go where the ball is going. What does that mean? I got it from Wayne Gretzky. He's a superstar ice hockey player. And they asked him, Wayne, why are you so good? And he said, because I don't go to where the puck is. I go to where the puck is going. That's what you call a flat, round thing that they use for ice hockey. That's their ball. And I got that, and I love that. I really do. I tried my best to always think of the future and say, I don't want to go to where people are now, where the world is now. I want to go, and I want you to think in that way. 15 years ago, let me share you this story. 15 years ago, I started my small businesses, which to this day is still here. And it was work from home 15 years ago. We didn't have an office. I wanted to work from home. I wanted all the employees to. We have now about 200 people in these small businesses, and I'm telling you, we just work from home. So when the pandemic came and lockdown and all that, we didn't skip a beat. We've been doing it for 15 years. Homeschooling was something that we started 18 years ago, and we started teaching parents how to homeschool. And so when the pandemic came and the lockdown came and parents had to teach their kids from home, we said, we've been doing this for 15 years and we've been teaching thousands of parents how to do that. And so we were poised, just to help parents. And so there, Catholic Philippine Academy and all that. And so we're what I'm saying is you kind of like ask yourself, where's the world going? As I said, you might be expecting a spiritual talk this time. I'm not. I'm sharing something very, very practical. Ask yourself, where is the world going? You want to go there. And sometimes you'll be too early and you'll be all alone. But you just wait a little bit. And sometimes you'll make a mistake. That's fine. There's no shame in that. Then you make a detour. I'll give you one last example. About 12, 13 years ago, we kind of like knew that ministry-wise, spiritual communities, it's not, we felt that it'll be better if we would just rent venues for our feasts. And then 7 years ago, we said, I think God wants us to be more nimble. And so we didn't even want to rent spaces for some of our smaller feasts. We wanted the feasts to be so small, so intimate, that you could hold them in homes, you could hold them in coffee shops, you can hold them in offices, you can hold them in prisons, you can hold them in drug rehabs, you can hold them everywhere. And so that's what we did. And so we've got all these feasts all over the world. And so when the pandemic came, we were all online. We did not skip a beat. We were just ready. And why? I really think it's this ability to keep on asking, where is the world going? That's where I want to go. I'll give you some examples. And if you are a driver right now, that's your profession, I want you to retool yourself. I want you to start learning new skills, because 10 years from now, the cars will be self-driving. If you are a call center agent and it's all voice, you're not the one with the skills on data or on coding or on math or on medical, but I want you to retool. I want you to learn new skills, because AI, artificial intelligence, is taking over your job. I don't know when, but that year is going to come. And you just retool. Just learn new skills. You have to. You must. Are you a lawyer or you're studying to become a lawyer? I want you to know that the world will be very different some years from now, because AI will be taking over many roles of what lawyers are doing now. And so it will become that the special lawyers will be needed. And if you're there, that's great. But if you're not there, then again, you've got to retool. So I just want you to research. I'm not an expert. I just like looking. I just like reading and listening. That's what you need to do. Go to where the ball is going. Very, very important. Lesson number 8. Last lesson. Are you ready? And this is the most important lesson I learned in 2020. Not that I didn't know it, but I embraced it even more today. The greatest blessing is to be a blessing. Let me share with you what an experience I've had this year. That every time we would have lunch or breakfast or dinner here at home, and I would have my wife there and my 2 sons here, and there'd be food on the table, I would say, Father, thank you for my family. Thank you, I'm surrounded by love. Thank you for Ate Chona who takes care of our food. Thank you so much. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you. And then I say this. Thank you for the opportunity that you are giving me to feed the hungry and to help those who don't have as much blessings as I have. Help me to be a blessing. And so every day I pray that prayer. And this entire year of 2020, we have been able to feed thousands of people. We have mobilized all the different feasts, because we're so decentralized. We just told everybody, you do what you can in your own area and go. And so they've been helping. and it was beautiful. This is the essence of the kingdom. This is what it means to follow Jesus. This is what it means to be a human being. That you're not trapped in your little world of pain, and no, you're looking outward and you're saying, how can I be a blessing to other people? Because this is the way to live. These are the lessons that I learned in 2020. What are the lessons that you learned in 2020? Learn them, embrace them, meditate on them, chew on them, write them down, share about them to other people, and then enter 2021 with those lessons in mind and implement them in your life. Will you prosper in every area of your life in 2021? That, my friend, is up to you. 3 things you need. Number 1, trust in God. Number 2, a decision to follow God. And number 3, habits. You need the habits of actively implementing the lessons that you learned in 2020. Can I pray for you? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.